You don't have to be told twice that that is Buddy Greco, and Love's going to live here again. I think you're right, Buddy. We're about, 10 or 15 albums behind the times here.
We don't do those things anymore.
Of course, you see, you're talking Central Illinois here, almost. And down in the sticks, of course, that's what happens. We're behind times.
Well, not really. We've got a lot of new things, Ken, since we've spoken. As you know, I'm opening tonight here at the Hyatt House. We're only here until Saturday.
That's right.
And I'm in with a whole new thing now. I have 5 people that travel with me, 2 very, very young, beautiful ladies, one of which is my wife. They're both, in fact, my wife and her sister are backup singers in my show, and they're both tall, blonde, and gorgeous.
Now, I have to tell folks this, in case they don't know. You are married to a former Playboy bunny who I think was Bunny of the Year in 1974.
Yes.
She has to be gorgeous.
Well, yes. But it's a whole, musically, we have just written and produced a new album, which will be coming out soon. But the most important thing is that we're here, and my son, Jean-Paul, who is 3 months old, is with us, and we intend to have a lovely time.
And I suppose you have him in the act already, right?
Well, almost. In fact, last week, as I told you, we've been in Europe for 6 weeks. We were in London, and I brought him out on stage, and we were working a place called the Talk of the Town, which I've been there about 6, 7 times. Anyway, it seats about 3,000 people. When I brought him out on stage, they just went crazy. Because he's gorgeous. He's got black hair and blue eyes, and he's beautiful.
Yeah, that's terrific. It sounds like everything is really going well for you.
Yes, finally, at this point in my life, it is.
I know you've had your ups and downs, as many people have in show business.
Absolutely.
And, well, let's talk about what's happening lately. You've been recording in England. Maybe that's one of the reasons we haven't been keeping up too much.
True.
And I understand some of the new albums. Let me ask you this, because you obviously deal in music and have quite an ear for it. I don't mean to put down any of the record companies in this country at all, but every once in a while we'll get some records released by London or whatever, and they sound gorgeous. And I won't mention any names over here, but you listen to some of the records, and they have scratches and pops and hisses on them. Brand new records.
Right.
And I don't know why, but have you noticed that, or is that a problem for some artists?
No, in fact, it's funny you should say that. I have, well, not only me, a lot of performers have noticed that I don't know if it's the quality or there's a mistake in the pressing, but I have recorded in Europe many, many, many times, and of course I've recorded here many times. It just seems that the process and the equipment or whatever it is so much more sophisticated in England, for example, and I hear some records that I did there 5 or 6 years ago, and it just sounds, the sound is excellent.
It sounds strange, but we have some records, some older records, in fact, well, maybe like the one I just played, that will sound quality-wise much, much better than some of the brand new things.
It's probably in the lack of the pressing. I don't really think it's the equipment.
Yeah, or maybe the plastic or something.
Really?
Who knows? But it's interesting. So many things are being done in England, and I asked you if you did the Muppet Show while you were over there, but you didn't.
Well, I went over to every time I go to England, we do a couple of specials, and this time we were going to do a Muppet Show, and I'm sure you read about it in the paper. Unfortunately, the month that we were in London, the ITV and BBC and London Weekend, which are the big television companies, were on strike. So there went my Muppets. But I'm sure we're going to do it in November because we're going back to do a command performance.
Oh, terrific. That sounds like a lot of fun. Tell you what, let me break for a commercial or two, and we'll talk more about some of the new records that you have out, that kind of thing. It is 11 minutes after 11 o'clock. Buddy Greco is our telephone guest this morning.
Hey, what's the party for?
It's a birthday party for a 5-year-old.
There must be some 5-year-old.
It is. It's the Illinois State Lottery. 5 years old this month.
Hey, that calls for a celebration.
Sure does. And here it is, the lottery's 5th anniversary game. In honor of the occasion, the lottery has set aside over $100,000 in extra prize money for every million tickets sold. That's $100,000 above and beyond what they usually spend on prizes.
Wow.
There's a weekly drawing with prizes up to $5,000 and a special bonus prize drawing at the end of the game. And talk about party favors. Listen to these bonus prizes. 5 prizes of $5,555, 5 trips for 2 to Hawaii, 5 trips for 2 to Acapulco, and the same for Nassau, Miami, and Vegas.
Enough said. How do I join the party?
Just get yourself some tickets to the 5th anniversary game.
How many would you suggest I start with?
Oh, I don't know. How about 5?
Join the celebration. Play the lottery's 5th anniversary game. On sale now.
The way to think big is to think little. Joe Little Painted Wallpaper. They're the folks with big ideas on ways to make your home more beautiful than ever. They have the supplies and the know-how to get the job done right and fast. Joe Little Painted Wallpaper carries Pittsburgh paints and res stain, so you can depend on their quality. And Warren Clawwooder's 35 years experience in home decorating means you can depend on their ability. Joe Little Painted Wallpaper, Colonial Plaza.
The prettiest clothes you'll see this fall are at Where Else Fashion's Fall Sale. Bright, colorful clothing with well-known labels and inexpensive price tags. Save 50% or more. Wool and corduroy blazers from Levi and Wayne Rogers worth $42 to $75 are $19 to $29 at Where Else. Sweaters from Crazy Horse and Outlander worth $16 to $42, $8 to $16 at Where Else's Fall Sale. After all, no one sees the price tag but you.
Where Else for Fashion in Colonial Plaza, across from Eastland Mall.
We're back. 829-2345 is our number, or 1-800-322-9377 if you want to call in on the watch line. We have Buddy Greco as a special telephone guest this morning, and if you have a question for him, why, feel free to give us a buzz. Meantime, I want to ask you about some of these new records you talked about, Buddy. What are you doing musically that you can tell us about?
Well, because of the fact that I am basically a jazz musician, I've kind of gotten away from a lot of the things that not only myself, but most of my contemporaries have been doing for years, because I figured, it was fine during that time, but my wife and I decided to really go back to one of our first loves, and that's writing.
Right, obviously.
And being a musician, and my wife being a very talented lady, God bless her, we got together, and my group, and recorded a new album and 4 new singles, which we produced. We wrote, and hopefully will be out very shortly, and it's a whole new area for me. It's very contemporary.
Speaking of jazz and your appreciation for that, no doubt we're saddened by the fact that Stan Kenton passed away
Absolutely.
This past Saturday.
Yes, a very good friend of mine.
You never played with the Kenton group, but I know you did with the Benny Goodman Orchestra, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I did when I was about 16.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah, I was with Benny Goodman for 3 years.
But not with Kenton?
Oh, no. Well, he was a piano player. I'm a piano player.
So it would be silly to have 2 piano players.
But I knew the man through the years, and I respected him a great deal because he had a lot to offer. And you're always saddened by things like that.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, we can expect more jazz, I would think, from you.
Oh yes.
What are you doing at the Blue Max? That is really a beautiful room, by the way. Very, very intimate.
Well, it's a lovely room. It's probably one of the nicest rooms that we have now in the business, and I've been away from here for too long, and I'm very, very happy to be back. And unfortunately, we're only here until Saturday. And for the people who are hearing me that want to come and see our show and see these pretty ladies, I suggest that they get here before Saturday, because then I'm going back home to Los Angeles, and I'm gone until like January of next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea when we're going to be back in this area again.
So, take you in, obviously, this week, through September 1st.
Right.
That's the last night. Here it is, August, almost slipping by us already.
I know it.
But listen, I appreciate talking with you. Lots of luck. We'll watch for the albums. What are they going to be called? You got names on them?
I really don't know yet, because, you've got to work it out with the record companies. I've got my fingers crossed, and hopefully the records will come out soon. But the most important thing is that we're back here, and we're always love working the Chicago area, and we'd like people to come and see us.
All right. Lots of luck with the new son, almost new.
Thank you.
3 months old, and the family.
Sean Paul, and he's gorgeous.
All right. Buddy Greco, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ken.
Let me wrap this up with another Buddy Greco tune.
One by one.